In this video, we're going to discuss a brief overview of using QView. It's part of our four-part series, or excuse me, five-part series on QView. And obviously, we're talking about using here. We're not going to do a super duper deep dive. At this point, there are enough features in QView that I could probably do several videos, and we will be expanding this series going forward. But for right now, we're just going to do a brief overview of the functionality, and we're going to do it from the perspective of just the reviewer. At this point, there is a mode for imager users, for more forensics-oriented users, and we will be making a video on that. But that is not part of this series. It's definitely not this video. So in any event, let's hop into QView and talk about using it. So I'm going to do it in what's known as offline mode. If you viewed the various if you viewed the mode videos, you'll know what I mean by this. Excuse me, not offline mode, login mode. And I'm going to log in at this. And to do this, I have to obviously enter my base URL. This is my machine, so this is going to work for me. And now I have my different cases I can select, and I'm going to select demo case because I only have one case. So let's just talk about the functions available and the general layout. Up top, you have your menu bar, as is the case in many tools. You've got home here, which presents to you your case selection, some filters, and some basic functions over here for labeling or tagging, however you want to call it. You've got your panel bar here, which will show you which panels are exposed and which panels are not exposed. In this case, you could see the viewer is exposed. That's this one. The label assignment is exposed, and you can come down here and you see that's right there. A bookmark is right there. Properties right there. The item list, this is the item list. And finally, the filter bar, that was the thing we saw on the other screen. So if we just click that off, that removes the filters that we could have applied over here. So I'll go back to the home screen and show you that. But if you don't want the filter bar, you can just click that and remove it. But those are the various components. You expose these things by clicking on them or clicking off of them if you want to get rid of them. And the screen, the paneling as we would refer to it, is all totally dynamic. So let me show you how that works. First of all, this top menu bar can be closed by doing that. And then you can move panels around. You see this is fundamentally a panel and this is fundamentally a panel. And I can close any one of these by clicking X. I can unpin it, or I can get these various different options, right? So float it, dock it, tab, documents. Anyway, you can read them same as I can. Auto hide. Auto hide is sort of a cool one. But you can play around with them however you want. You can learn what they do. It's pretty straightforward. But let me just grab this one and show you how I can move it around. It presents these various options. There's also these options. And the reason there are so many options is because, in fact, you can run into a number of different scenarios in which you want to, create a multiple panel environment, maybe a left, a right, and a bottom, and then all these different options become very relevant. If you scroll on top of this, this is going to basically combine this panel with this other panel in a tabbed environment. So you now see we've got just one panel with all of these different options in it. And if I decide, hey, that's not really what I wanted, I can remove any one of these. I've pulled out the properties one, and I'm going to go ahead and now put that back on the right. And I can bring bookmarks over and put it back, and I can reconstruct what basically we had easily enough. And then I'm back to where I was. So that's kind of how the paneling works. You can move all this stuff around. and obviously you can resize things. There is, in fact, also search. Here's a search bar, and you can see all the different options you have for search. You can just type a search, federal, and search. And you can save searches, and it's really quite nice, frankly. Go ahead and click on that document and view it like that. So there you go. That's how you run searching, and you can see all these different options here. You can do synonyms, natural, basically everything you'd want to do in terms of searching. You can save search, load searches, delete searches. It's all really straightforward, all consistent as closely as possible anyway with Quincy. But there are some slight differences because there's stuff that's available at the desktop level in QView that is not in Quincy and vice versa because of the various environments they exist in. Now let's just talk really quickly about the viewer. You can see there are all these different types of viewers. There's a web viewer, really good if you're looking at chats. Video, obviously, if you're looking at videos. If you want the filtered text, if there is filtered text, in this case there is. If there isn't, you might want OCR text. We haven't run any OCR for this object, so it shows you no content. It's very often the case if you're a legal reviewer, for example, that you are viewing a document that both has a native and an image stream, meaning it's been PDF'd, so like a Word document with a PDF. If that was the case, you'd be able to get to it here, and it shows you the various options that you have for that. PDF, if it's JPEG, TIFF, or multi-page TIFF. You can do in-document search if you want to search for gas, for example. There you go, that's the first one. You can see there's the next one. It will eventually get to this one, but you know, you're gonna just jump through them all because it's split. It's a what do you call them? A column-based PDF. So anyway, that's how you work. You can go forward, backwards. So that's the viewer. The grid works like the grid in Quincy works. So you can filter, you can do all the kind of things you might want to do in a grid, sort, whatever. And then let's talk about labeling and bookmarking, and that I think that's probably a good place to end our overview. Or actually, excuse me, let's first do some filtering. Come back here. This is worth showing. These are all the quick filters that you're familiar with if you're an FTK user or a Quincy user. If you want to see communications, messages / emails, click on that. See how quickly it filtered. It's really fantastic. Spreadsheets. Look at how good spreadsheets render. It's just the beauty of a desktop environment. Executables, documents, whatever. It's all really responsive. It's all really fast, and it's pretty powerful. Now let's go on to the last little bit that I think is really worth being aware of, which is how to label. Labels are the same in QView as they are in Quincy. So if you have labels, in this case, they will show up here. If you want to create a label, you can do that just by right-clicking. Labels come in two flavors, as you should probably be aware of already, folders and actual labels. So I want an actual label in this case, and I'm going to call it my demo label. And I can save that. And you can see now I have a label called demo, and I can just go ahead and click on it. And it is now applied to this document. And so if I go to the next document or a different document, let's go to our item list. And I want to make sure I know. And I'll go to the skip 2 ahead. And I go back to label, and you see no labels applied. And if I come back here, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I totally apologize. I click on this. I didn't actually save. It says click on save to apply your label. And I want to do that. Click on save. Silly brain fart on my part. I apologize. So let's go and do that same exercise again. and we go see nothing's applied here, and we come back here and we go to this one, and there you go. So that's that simple. If I want to remove the label, of course I can click here and then click Save again. Bookmarks is almost exactly the same dynamic. You come in here and you, whether it wants to be a shared bookmark or an administrator bookmark. I am the administrator. If you are a user, your username will show up here. I'm going to right click and do new bookmark, and then you'll see all the different bookmark options. If you're familiar with bookmarks, a lot of the legal reviewers don't use them, but our forensics users have them as core. So we'll call this demo, and our bookmark comment is just oh, I apologize, I got to click edit. Our bookmark comment is right here, and we click first comment. And of course I spelled every word wrong there, but I'm dyslexic, so that's okay. And we'll just go ahead and click save, and there you go. And now we have a bookmark, and if we want to apply that or add this object to that bookmark, we can go click there, and we'll type file or cool file and hit save. And now this bookmark, our first comment bookmark, or excuse me, our demo comment, which has our demo bookmark, which has the bookmark comment first comment, has a object ID 2016, which is this one, attached to it with the comment cool file. So a lot there to take in. Hopefully that's all familiar with you though, because if you've used bookmarks in the past, it should be really straightforward. But there's a lot here. That's how it all works. I think you should feel free to just go hog wild on this. It's a really safe and I think a very intuitive product. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. As always, if you have questions, post them on the message board, and I'll be as prompt as possible in answering them. Thank you very much.